You've been there, settling in for an evening of TV only to waste half the night scrolling. Enter Fire TV, entertainment with zero effort required. Fire TV serves up personalized recommendations from across all your apps. Not sure what to watch? Just tell Alexa Plus what you're in the mood for and she'll pull up the perfect recommendation. Problem solved. Stop the scroll, start the show. Find what you're looking for with Fire TV. Subscriptions may be required.
Okay, caller 1 wins courtside seats to tonight's game.
What? I won floor seats?
You did.
I've been calling for 13 months.
Wait, Chris?
Yes, I finally did it.
What are you gonna wear?
Men's Warehouse. They've got today's looks for any occasion, and I need to look like a celebrity.
Don't want to stick out.
Exactly. They've got Chill Flex by Kenneth Cole, Joseph Abboud, and a tailor at every store for the perfect fit.
Congrats. You can stop calling now.
Not a chance.
Get any look for every occasion at Men's Warehouse. Love the way you look.
Entering a realm between the hidden and forgotten, a slipstream caught between realities, a secret museum of the esoteric, the private library of shadows, all taking place in a world forged from mystery and caught between logic and myth. You are entering ParaReality.
Good evening, seekers of the strange and the unexplained. Welcome to ParaReality, a place where shadows whisper, mysteries linger, and the line between fact and the unknown grows razor thin. I'm Sandman, your guide through the hidden corridors of reality. Here, every question awakens a mystery, and every mystery pulls us deeper into the truth concealed in the shadows. Tonight, we step once again into the world where truth and mystery collide. Welcome, my friends, to the ParaReality podcast. As I said, I'm your host, Sandman. Nearly 3 centuries ago, on a bitter winter morning, a young woman named Elizabeth stood on a gallows while death was already waiting for her. And then death came again, with a governor's pardon in hand and hope still alive. Her father rode hard, close enough that he should have saved her. But fate, cruelty, or something darker intervened. The rope stopped twitching. Elizabeth's final breath spilled into the frozen air, and with it something else escaped, something that never left. Some say curses aren't spoken, they're breathed. They sink into the soil, they cling to trees, stones, and bloodlines, and once they take hold, they don't care about centuries, property lines, or you owners, because Elizabeth did not die that day. She changed. For generations, she's been seen walking fields that no longer exist, drifting through cornrows swallowed by time, standing at roadsides, watching from windows that were never meant to hold her reflection. Her story followed the land until that land became something else. A building, a business, a place where people sleep, a place now known as the Windham Inn. Tonight, we step into a story where revenge, reincarnation, and spiritual warfare collide, where dark entities battle for dominance, where the dead refuse to stay silent, and where one man was drawn into the fight, not as a spectator, but as a protector. Because some hauntings don't want attention. They want souls. So make sure you tune in, and find out why some places never forget what was done there. But before I introduce my guest, I got to take a quick break to try to pay those bills. I will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Step up your sweat with the Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus. Swivel your screen 360 degrees and follow your favorite instructors on and off your tread. Track your form and reps with the movement tracking camera. Feel supported as you train on the cushioned slap belt and move to the beat with Sound by Sonos. Elevate your workouts with the Cross Training Tread Plus. When you want your spring break to feel like and your kids' pool day to feel like and your hotel bed to feel like ooh, and room service to feel like because at Hilton, hospitality feels like
Your cabana's ready. Would you like fresh towels?
it matters where you stay. Book now at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay.
ParaReality is a proud member of the Evergreen Podcast Network. For more information or to check out other shows on the network, please visit evergreenpodcast.com.
Broadcast from a secret bunker somewhere outside of Nashville, Tennessee. This is the award-winning podcast, ParaReality.
Welcome back, everyone. My guest tonight is Mystery at the Windham Inn, the Feral Feline author, Mr. D. Paul, and he is not your average paranormal investigator. Mr. D. Paul is a disabled U.S. Navy veteran, a Native American holy man recognized by Granddaughter Crow, and a lifelong spiritual warrior who spent decades confronting everything from mischievous poltergeists to entities so dark they put his own life at risk. Rooted deeply in his Native American heritage and guided by his Christian faith, D. Paul walks a rare and powerful path as a, I'm going to try and get this right, tell me if I get it wrong, Mr. Paul, as a Heyoka, a healer, a seer, a spiritual warrior who brings the worlds of the seen, who bridges the worlds of the seen and the unseen. He doesn't just investigate hauntings, he cleanses them. He helps people who are suffering from dark attachments and malevolent beings, malevolent energies, and even possession. He's a storyteller and a self-described hollow bone. D. Paul believes his books aren't merely fiction, but they are messages, visions, guided by ancestral wisdom and what he calls his true ghost writer. His stories unfold like revelations, revealing not only what haunts certain places, but why. Tonight, we're diving into the terrifying history behind the Windham Inn, the spirit of Elizabeth, the battle between light and darkness, and what happens when unfinished injustice refuses to stay buried. Mr. D. Paul, welcome to the ParaReality podcast, sir. Thank you for being a guest.
Holy moly, Mr. Sandman. That's a heck of an introduction.
Thank you. Did I get the Heyoka thing right? Did I pronounce
Nailed
that right?
it. You nailed it.
Tell us about a Heyoka. What is that? Because that interests me.
Heyoka is like a living trickster, someone who sees things differently than everybody else, the black sheep of the family, if you will. And historically, you'd see an image of a Heyoka riding backwards on his horse through a village,
Okay.
So it's about someone who gets the rest of the tribe, if you will, to look at things from different perspectives.
Very interesting. Never heard of that term before. That probably doesn't surprise you, though, does it?
Does not.
So let's talk about your book. It's Haunting at the Windham Inn, and actually it's more than that. It's Mystery at the Windham Inn. Excuse me, right? Mysteries at the Windham Inn, the Feral Feline, right? I want to make sure I get that right. Okay, book one. Okay, so this is a series. So How did you get the inspiration for this? And is it based more on reality, or is it more a work of fiction?
Yeah, so I don't write fiction. If you look
Okay.
at my other books, I'm not a fiction writer.
Okay.
People will read this and they'll say, this isn't true. Well, listen, I challenge you to come to the Windham Inn and spend the night. We'll see. Right? We'll see how you do. All right. But I don't write fiction.
Okay.
I have a lot of access to the spirit world. And I research the living and history, and I listen to the folks that are inside this building, and I'm telling their story.
And what drew you to the Windham Inn in the first place?
So the crazy part is I don't live very far from there.
Okay.
It's kind of right in the center of the town I live in, which is in the middle of nowhere, right?
Down the road.
One of the guys I grew up with ended up living at this place for a number of years, and I think he was living there when I was in the military. And out of the blue, he just reached out and said, I'd like to talk to you. And we got together, and he was on his motorcycle. And if you read the book, you'll see the irony of him coming to me and how prominent the motorcycle plays out in the book, right? And he said that he's just started telling me about the Windham Inn and when he lived there, and this black cat that would terrorize him at night. And he would jump from his bed screaming, looking for this damn thing that was attacking him. And he'd turn his light on and there'd be no cat in his room.
Oh.
But he would have the scratches.
Oh, no. Okay.
The scratches are one thing. But when I said to him, I go, where were your scratches? He goes, well, these ones were easy, but the ones on my back really pissed off my girlfriend. Okay. And I'm like, all righty then.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So he was the catalyst behind the message to write this series. Okay, because I kind of knew, I had the thought that it was coming to me. The spirit world was telling me you're going to be writing this particular book and so on. But when he was talking to me, and when people talk, I see these bubbles, and inside those bubbles, it tells me the story. Right. So if people try to lie to me, it doesn't hold a lot of water. Okay, because I can see the energy shift in them and so on. But when he was telling this story, I can see the cat, and then I can see some of the ghosts at the Windham Inn, and I can hear him. I shouldn't say hear him. I could see him talking, but I couldn't hear him. All right. So they were trying to tell me then that we need to tell our story. All right. So I looked at him and I said, all right, Gary, you're about to be famous. So buckle up.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Right.
Now, there's the Watchers play a major role in this book, and they're kind of described as record keepers who oversee free will and intervene only under like strict rules and guidelines. So I think that a lot of people who are listening or watching this podcast will immediately think of the Watchers from like biblical text and modern UFO lore. So in your view, are these Watchers spiritual beings? Are they some sort of extraterrestrial intelligence or interdimensional energies? Or is it something that just exists outside those labels entirely?
So you're actually doing a great job of explaining how it works, because it is all of the above.
Sweet. Okay?
Some of the Watchers can truly be biblical, and some of them are from other places. Okay. And again, I do a lot of healing, and I work with a lot of different energies and entities on the positive white light side of the veil, not the dark side. Okay. And whether people believe it or not, there are a lot of aliens in that mix. Again, aliens is a broad term. Okay. But I reach out to several different extraterrestrials, if you will, who can specialize in specific healing. So like the Native American believes, we are all one from, as far back as time exists. We've always been one with the universe.
I like that. Yeah. By the way, just this has nothing to do with the interview, but I didn't ask you what if you don't mind, if this is not revealing too much, what's your Native American heritage? What tribe are you associated with?
So I'm a mutt. All right.
Okay.
My grandfather was from 3 different tribes or 4 different tribes. Can't remember which.
Wow.
My great grandma, my mother, has 2. My father from my mother is from another Native American tribe. So I was raised in New England, and we were part of the North American Indian Club before, decades before it became 2 of the most successful casinos on the planet. The Mohican Sun and the Pequot, the Pequot tribe in Preston. Okay, when I was young, those reservations were cesspools, and I don't mean cesspools as in, the people were garbage. I mean, there was no money, there was abstract poverty. All right, and we were involved in with those tribes way back when. I was around Chief Tanaquidgeon when he was still alive in the 1970s. He was a World War II vet, and he is truly the last of the Mohicans. His sister Gladys, who lived to be 102, you can see her statue inside the Mohican Sun.
Wow.
She is the last full blood. If I'm saying this right, I'm saying it wrong, guys. I apologize. But the last full-blooded, true-blooded Mohican from the ancestral line. The irony is, I didn't know this at the time. I was doing something for this guy named Joey Quidgeon, great guy. All right, and time goes by, and he reached out and he says, "Hey, let me ask you a question. Did you know I was part of the tribe?" I was helping him with his house and some things, that I'm pretty good at. And I said, "No." I go, "Is that any relation to the Tanaquidgeons?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's my, Chief Tanaquidgeon's my great uncle," and blah blah blah. And the family shortened the name from Tanaquidgeon to Quidgeon somewhere in the last number of 50 years. And anyway, long story short, he says, "You were doing all this not knowing I was part of the tribe," and I said, "No, I didn't know." So it's amazing how acts of kindness can turn around and reward you in ways you never understand.
Yeah. The reason I ask about your background is because my wife is Native American. She's half Native American. You ever heard of the Lumbee tribe out of North Carolina?
Yes.
Yeah, they just got, finally, after trying for over 50 years, they just got federally recognized in December. So she's extremely happy about that. So anyway, anyone that has a Native American background holds a special place in my heart because of my wife. So, and also, you're a veteran as well. And I think that it's extra special for not only just to be a veteran, but also to be a Native American veteran. I think that's an extra special thing. So,
yeah, you want to hear a short, crazy story? When I enlisted and checked the box as Native American, they said no.
Really?
They said you have to produce a tribal card. I said, a tribal card? I said, what the fuck is a tribal card?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, so if I was black, could I not check the box black? Or, what do I got to show up with red skin? How's this work? What if I showed up, I said, what if I show up with my feather? If I show up and show you a feather, do I qualify? That pissed me off. But
you don't look Native American enough. Yeah.
Let me caveat that story. My grandfather jumped the reservation, fled the Carlisle School, joined the Navy in 1936, claimed he was white, and he jumped the Pawnee Reservation, in Oklahoma. And he claimed he was white, joined the Navy, because at that time, blacks, Indians could only be stewards and mess cooks, right?
Yeah.
Rode submarines in the Pacific in 3 different war patrols, did a career in the Navy, retired as a lieutenant commander, and he's buried up in Minnesota at Fort Snelling.
Nice.
Okay, so it's wild how my grandfather had to hide his ancestry, and I, as a young guy, was promoting it, and we both ended up with the same challenges.
Yeah, he had to hide it, and you had to prove it. Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I got my feather now, so we're, bring it on, people.
There you go. Proof, indisputable proof. Let's get back to the Windham Inn story. Now, throughout this story, there are portals and tunnels and circular openings of light that entities use to enter our realm. That imagery, it strongly mirrors a guy that I interviewed last night who was talking about portals and wormholes and stuff like that. So that has a lot of connections with modern UFO, UAP encounters and stuff.
All the same.
Yeah, based on your experiences, so that's what I was going to do. You think that hauntings and UFO activity may share the same doorway, just different people, different visitors using it?
It's all the same. Okay, it's all the
Okay.
same. It's just different energies for different purposes. Okay, but yeah, to me, it's all the same. And again, sometimes I can see these portals, and I can't
Mhm.
tell you, whether it's transitioning from the Pleiades to someplace else, or
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. But I do know, again, the ancestry of Native Americans, you can see the portals all over the place. Now, what are these portals that are carved into rock mountains? Okay. Were they for ancestors to chase the dark world away, or for skinwalkers to be able to come and say hello? No, they had to be portals to different universes. But Native American folklore tells us these things. Okay. It's just that people are now starting to believe it. And in 26, as 26 plays out, there's gonna be a lot more believers out there.
Really?
Oh
Is
yeah.
is this a prediction you're making? Is this a feeling you're
So
getting?
yeah, so I don't like predictions. I do a lot of prophecy. I've seen a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. I see this massive explosion coming in DC, and the whole 26 is, it's gonna be interesting as this transition from the darkness into the light, kind of finalizes, if you will. It takes a lot more time than one more year to finish it off, but the transition is already well underway. And in that insanity, if you will, folk, all this stuff we're seeing, on
Yeah.
people's videos
Mhm.
of extraterrestrials and all this stuff. It's all coming out. It'll be out in the course of this year. Not all of it, but enough where people are no longer, kind of. I'll say it like this: before the shows like Ghost Adventures and all these people went out
Uh-huh.
there and started chasing ghosts,
Mhm.
all you had were the Warrens. Well, the Warrens, they're dead now, but their house
Yeah.
is only about an hour from me. Okay. So that kind of stuff I've been familiar with my whole life. Well, they brought it into the light, and all of a sudden all this stuff come out. Well, the same thing's unfolding with all the UFOs and UAPs and all that.
So you think disclosure, at least the beginning of it, will happen this year in 26?
So I think it's already happened. Okay.
Okay.
I think the disclosure's already been coming out. And again, the whole reason they slow it down is because they say the world's going to go into chaos and all this. And
Mhm.
I don't subscribe to that. But again, I'm not in charge of any government in the world, right? At
Right.
the end of the day, it's been trickling out enough, just like understanding the spirit world. Okay.
Mhm.
I like to say it like this: if you read the Bible, it'll kind of tell you that you shouldn't commit suicide, right? Okay. If
Mhm.
you look at organized religion, Eastern, Christianity, if you will, okay,
Yeah.
they frown upon suicide. Well, then,
Mhm.
and then they caveat it by saying if you commit suicide, you go to purgatory and all this stuff, all this terrorizing stuff that happens to you if you take your life. Listen, I don't encourage it, and I do a lot to advocate against suicide. All right.
Mhm.
But if everybody understood that reincarnation was real, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't everybody just start killing themselves if they didn't like their life? Okay, this life sucks. I'm going to end it and let's go find another one.
Start over. Yeah.
Well, again, that would be a good theory, and of course, if the Bible would say you do get reincarnated and blah blah blah, people would go down that path. My life sucks. I'm going to take my life, and we're going to do this again. What they don't think about is the next step. You're here to learn lessons. So if you want to take your life, you're going to come right back. You're going to go through the same crap you went through. Okay. And then you're going to either take your life again, or you're going to, I think Tom Cruise did a movie on this stuff, right? Running across the
Mhm.
battlefield, didn't get it right, got killed.
Mhm.
Just kept doing it until he got it right.
Till you learn your
Right?
lesson.
That's what we're
Yeah.
here for. Learn your
Gotcha.
lessons.
I gotcha.
Right?
Nice. So I'm not gonna try to make you nail down anything that you're predicting, that you're prophesizing for 26. But do you think that you said you see an explosion happening in DC? Is that going to be sooner rather than later? Is it going to be later on in the year? You don't have to give specifics. I'm not trying to nail you
So I
down.
don't have a date associated with
Mhm.
it. Okay. But I saw this two years ago. It's not the first time I've published that this
Okay.
is coming, but the vision I have is bitter. I mean, it's brutal, and I saw it at the
Uh-oh.
Harpo building. Harpo building. I can see the Harpo, HARRPO, and I didn't know. Apparently, Oprah has a building there or something. but I see it.
Did not know that.
And my senses are telling me that the explosion is packed full of explosives and it blows up. And the vision is that it envelops the Washington Monument in daylight. Okay, so it was a daytime. So when that helicopter crashed into the plane, I was asked, "Is that it?" And I did. I talked to the spirit world, and I didn't get a clear answer, but I didn't get a yes or a no. And I don't think it is, because it's just a different thing. But that's one of the things that I see. And again, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of others that have put things out there like that.
Nice. Okay. Well, I guess time will tell. We'll wait and see. So,
right.
Yeah. So back in your book, there's a character, Master Gary. And you describe a lot of high frequency sounds, vibrations, pressure waves, and time distortions during times where he was having spiritual attacks. These are, to me, the exact same psychological effects reported in things like abductions. So do you think that these sensations point to a shared technology or a shared energy source between dark entities and non-human intelligences?
Yeah, you have to look at it a little bit differently. The Earth itself has a vibration and a frequency. So does space and everything else, from rock to anything on anything has a frequency and a vibration.
Yeah, sure does.
So if you just kind of step back and stop trying to stare directly at and find the answer, just step back and open your mind, right? How many people hear these frequency changes in one ear or two ears, or they hear this high pitch whine, right? Most people don't pay attention to it. And the crazy part is, so many people walk around saying, "I've got tinnitus."
Tinnitus, yeah.
Okay. Well, I've never heard of anybody having tinnitus that just kind of comes in and out. At the same time, I can see these pressure waves changing. Okay. So to answer you directly, to me, the energy, the frequency, it is all there. More times than not, it's something coming in and piercing that frequency, okay, and changing the frequency by what they're doing. If something zips by us in this world, it's leaving a vapor trail, okay? Well, it's also leaving a sound, a frequency, or a shock wave. Well, those are things that we pick up. Again, whether it's an ET, whether it's a UFO, or whether it is a dark entity or a white light being. When angels come in, I hear a specific frequency in one ear. And then I know there's another angel coming in to do something or another. Okay. And I can start differentiating some of these frequencies for different level vibrations. What do I mean by that? Great Spirit is the highest vibration and the devil is the lowest vibration. We'll call that our baseline. Okay.
Okay.
All spirits and living in between vibrate at a different frequency, starting from the lowest and rising up to God. So an angel's frequency is going to be a lot higher and a lot stronger, if you will, than a dark entity. Right. That's why when you're talking about dark entities, you're always talking about low vibration entities.
Okay. And these vibrations that you are feeling, how do they manifest in you? I mean, do you more hear it like through your ears, or you feel it, like if someone has the big bass going in their car and it's thumping, you feel it in your chest?
Yes. I can't stand those things.
And
those things, when I was in the Navy, we got pinged for 2 months straight. When I was in submarines, and the surface was chasing us and so on. And these pings were coming through me. It almost made me go insane. Okay. Because that vibration and that frequency screwed with my existence so badly. I couldn't take it. It made me nauseous. It made me unbalanced. Okay.
I bet. Yeah.
So and again, for me, these frequencies, few people can hear them, right? Sometimes my wife can, but for the most time she can't. When they come in, I can not only hear it, but I feel it. All right. And if I get too much of that vibration, I get sick, physically ill. Okay. So again, if you look at why they're pacing, releasing the UFOs and so on that are coming, okay, is, in my opinion, right, once these things enter, again, they're bringing a whole new dynamic to the place and a whole new frequency. The physical body is only able to absorb so much change in frequency, or we fall apart, quite literally.
Okay.
If I took an acoustical sound and just started pinging you with it, you would be nauseous in a period of time. Okay. Again, if you look at the military, they've got these sound waves that they just project in a direction, and it disables people. Again, I'm not talking theory, right? This stuff's been around for 1 billion years. Read the Bible, right? Walk
Havana
around Jericho
syndrome.
7 times, right?
It reminds me what you're talking about. Reminds me of Havana syndrome.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So in your book, the Windham Inn itself seems to function like almost like a hotspot that attracts both dark entities and beings of white light. So in UFO research, we see geographic windows where activity clusters for centuries. So do you believe that certain locations on Earth are marked or claimed by non-human forces long before we ever got here?
Yes, absolutely. Again, my position is that the technology that exists on the Earth today, this is just a repeat of something that's happened tens of thousands of times, and we're just recycling so that souls can come to Earth and learn how to raise your vibration and learn our lessons.
Yeah.
And from like the book Mysteries at the Windham Inn, right? In book 2, you'll get a healthy understanding for how the Native Americans would contain darkness in the earth by placing these giant rocks on top of them. Okay. Now, in those rocks are things like crystals, quartz crystals, right? And science has proven that if you put quartz under pressure, it generates energy. Okay. Don't believe me? Look at your quartz watch, right? It's got a tiny piece of quartz in it, and that's the battery, right? Take a chunk of quartz, put it in a vise. It's going to give off energy, right? Well, that's what happens to all these rocks that the natives would put on top of portals to contain the darkness in the earth. When the folks came in and settled the Windham Center area, they broke up that rock and unleashed this nightmare. Okay. Now, they did it before in a town in Connecticut called Dudleytown, right? They pulled the rock off, and when they did, they built, and then the town imploded. Okay. And if you want to go to one of the most scariest places on earth you'll find, I dare you to go to Dudleytown, but I dare you to only stand on the edge of the entrance to Dudleytown. I don't advise you to walk inside the bubble of Dudleytown.
Okay.
That place is off limits. The town doesn't go in there. The state doesn't go in there. The federal government doesn't go in there. Okay. It is an imploded town. And in the book, I outline that if the darkness wins in Windham Center, Windham Center is going to be the next Dudleytown.
Dudleytown.
Right.
Okay.
Again, I don't write fiction.
No, you don't. Wow. So one thing that you write about is free will. And you write that free will is the one thing that the dark ones hate the most, and that they need to trick us humans rather than force them to do stuff. And this idea is it, do you believe that some non-human beings are bound by the same cosmic rules regarding free will?
So remember the Watchers?
Yep.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Okay. They are the impartial jurors.
Okay.
Okay. So know that. Imagine this, if you will. No matter what you do, it's recorded. Okay. And when you die, you're gonna remember that. And you're gonna look at some parts of your life and go, oh crap. Oh crap. Okay. Because you get to watch the replay. All right. Yeah. And you're gonna look around, you're gonna go, yeah, I didn't think anybody saw that.
Yeah.
Right? And the watcher is just gonna look at you and go, that's what we're here for.
That's why we're here.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're the cosmic scale balancers, if you will, because you said what I'd like to do is change what you said about the darkness. Okay. They have to tell us what they're doing. Okay. And as long as they tell us that, whatever it is, we're going to steal your money, we're going to rob you blind, we're going to take your soul. As long as they just say it, they have met the requirement of universal law. Okay.
Okay.
And the crazy part is, I'll challenge people. Listen to these politicians. Listen to them. Okay. Watch what they tell you and then watch what they do. When they tell you they're going to, or we're going to, or something, listen to them. Take them at their word, because they are the devil incarnated, if you will. Right? Not all of them, but you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to get into a political discussion, but I need to use that as the leverage on the darkness. Okay.
Okay.
Now let me qualify it with this and free will. Okay. So in order to have free will, which we all do, okay, you also have the darkness, which says we want to take your free will, but they're telling you they're coming to take it. Okay.
Okay.
They just don't tell you how they're taking your free will.
Okay.
Every chip of your freedom they take away, they've taken a piece of your free will. But for those of you who don't think free will exists, listen to this terrifying story. There has been one thing in my existence that truly frightened me straight. All right.
Okay.
A number of decades ago, I was sick of this. I was sick of the gifts that I have, and I'm going to qualify this, and I got to say a prayer first. Okay, Great Spirit, I'm just telling a story. Please, this is just repeating the story. Don't let it happen again. Oh, okay. All right. I had enough. I was at my breaking point, and I was in a battle with God that I don't believe this shit is real. I can't take this anymore. I want out. All right.
Okay.
So I ordered using my free will. I ordered all of my protection to back up. All right. And I said, enough. I can't take this anymore. And I did that, and it wasn't a count of 1, 2, 3. And as all this white light is backing up all of my protection, okay, I could feel the goodness leaving and hate, vile, anger, bitterness filtering in. And as that first whiff of it hit my nose, I saw this serpentine string of nasty tar pitch snake-like thing weaving across my room. All right. Now it is between me and the protection that's been taking care of me since I was born.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And quickly I said, uh-oh. Okay. That wasn't the worst of it.
No.
It turns its head and it looks at me, and it didn't say this out loud. I could hear it clear as day in my head. I'm coming for your soul. All right. As it did, the stench that hit my nose, my lips, my mouth, my eyes felt like they were on fire. My ears hurt, and my soul contracted. And it is the one time in my existence that I actually felt my soul prepare to flee.
Ooh.
Right? Okay. Now, when you go through a trauma, your spirit will step outside of you. Okay. I've had this happen to me a number of times.
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time your soul can flee. I didn't know that. Okay. In the midst of this, I am quickly realizing how badly I effed up. All right?
Yeah. No kidding.
You, this is now second 8, 9, 10. Between second 10 and 15. And I'm telling you, it's only 15 seconds. The absolute terror that I witnessed was enough for me to spend the rest of my life absolutely driving hard without zero doubt in the faith of God, Great Spirit, white light, period. When I realized it, and I instantly said, please, Lord, forgive me for what I just did. Don't tell me God won't forgive you, because he did in that moment, and in-rushed my protection and white light and attacked this dark thing. And I watched the battle ensue. And I'm sitting there going, please, baby Jesus, please, baby Jesus, please. Okay. And from that moment forward, I've never questioned my faith again.
That's
and to God, true story.
That's mind-boggling right there, and really scary at the same time.
Terrifying. But when I say that I fear no evil now, you understand why.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm like, nope, I got it. White light's going to win. I got it. I know my job is to be a hollow bone. Okay. Pay attention to that word. To be a hollow bone, to move their light through me to help others.
Well, with that being said, we're past time to take a quick break. So I got to play a couple of commercials here. So hang out, and we'll be right back with Mr. D. Paul, and we'll finish up with our conversation. So hang on. We'll be back.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Spring is here and the shopping list is long. Time to make a Lowe's run. Buy 3 bags, get 3 free of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil. Plus, right now, members can earn 4 times the points on an eligible purchase. Start spring off strong with these deals and more. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/25 while supplies last. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Point boosters subject to exclusions and more terms apply. One-time only offer.
Hey guys, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have a story, a question, or a topic you'd like me to cover? If so, you can reach me directly by email at sandman@parareality.com. Or, for a more personal touch, you can just call the Secret Bunker at 615-461-5001 and leave a message. Just know that by calling, you're giving me permission to feature your voice on the podcast. Again, that number to call is 615-461-5001. You want to stay up to date with all things ParaReality? Then follow me on all major social media platforms. You can find me on Facebook at sandman.parareality, or you can follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok by looking for my handle at ParaRealRadio. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by looking for ParaReality 1. That's ParaReality with the number 1 behind it. And don't forget to visit my website, parareality.com. That's where you'll find an archive of all of my past podcast episodes for free. You can also find the latest in paranormal news from all around the world under the Para News section. Your support means everything, whether you buy something from my store or leave me a positive review on whatever podcast app you're listening on. A 3-star or higher review goes a long way in helping this podcast reach new listeners, and I would truly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Sitting here talking with Mr. D. Paul about so many fascinating things. The last story was, yeah, that was. I'm glad I wasn't you. Let's just put it that way. So, in your book, Mysteries at the Windham Inn, once again referring to the character Master Gary. It seems like in the book he seems to be targeted from birth and tracked through spiritual tethers before the events take place at the inn. What makes certain people visible to these forces, and do you think that bloodlines play a role? And the reason I ask this is because, once again, kind of putting a little bit of a UFO spin on it, a lot of experiencers report lifelong UFO contact that begins in childhood. So yeah. Do you think bloodlines play a role?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's the same thing in the spirit world. They're mm-hmm. Again, they parallel each other. All right. So yes, bloodlines. All right. Multi-generational, things that you just can't, curses you can't break, and so on and so on. That's part of what we do in this Vet Force One, the Spirit Plane organization that we put together, a handful of vets and I, is we break those generational curses in the spirit world and so on. But yeah, the bloodlines and the what you were saying are generational.
Okay, and the blackest hole described in the book feels to me less like a traditional hell and more like a dimensional prison, like a place outside of normal space and time. Is that how you see it? And
yes.
Could this align with theories that UFO entities operate from adjacent dimensions rather than, distant planets?
So yes, on both.
Okay.
And again, if you really want to go into the deep end, you got to think about 8,000 years from now and 8,000 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still digging into the earth and finding hammers in stones that are 700 feet into the ground, right?
Yeah.
Explain this to me. Walk me through this one, okay? So again, my position is that we're here to learn lessons, okay? And that time, when I was part of the Native American tribe, the Sioux tribe in the 1800s, okay, those battles, those families, those things are still going on today as we're living these lives. I know that starts getting out there, okay, but I'm confident that all these lives parallel each other. And if you wanted to view a past life or a future life, all you have to do is stick your face through the right portal and you'll see either what has been or what's coming. Right. Again, I've got a dream log that's packed with all kinds of stuff, good stuff and bad stuff. And I'll close that with this. In March of last year, my wife was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh,
she looked at me and she said, "Did you know?" And I said, "Yes." And I opened my book, and 3 years to the date, I had written in there, "Terry has cancer," in my dream log. Okay.
Oh.
And she's looking at it and she goes, "And you didn't say anything for 3 years." I said, "I did, but I just didn't tell you what was coming." Okay. I did everything I could to help you eat healthy and do all these things to prevent it from happening, but I was unsuccessful. And now we're in a battle with cancer. Okay. So prophecy is amazing stuff. So when somebody can explain to me truly how I knew my wife was going to have cancer, okay, and I know the outcome. I will never say it out loud, but I know the outcome. Okay. No, until somebody can come along to me and say, how can I have all of these things in an existing journal right now, that the Israeli war, right? I predicted that long before it happened because I could see the war in my dreams, right, and visions, right? So am I seeing a future? Okay. And again, I've seen how much of the future am I seeing? You can't tell me I'm not seeing the future. Okay, you just can't. Now, how is that possible? Well, again, if you can stick your face through these time warps, you can see almost anything.
And the fact that you know the outcome of what's going on with your wife, do you think that affects the way that you're fighting this battle with cancer? I mean,
yes,
I'm sure it gives you insights and everything, but do you feel like you're, and this may be a question that I don't need to ask, and if you don't want to answer this, you definitely do not have to, but do you feel like it's fighting a losing cause? I mean, do you feel like it doesn't matter what I do, the outcome is going to be the outcome and I can't change it, so why bother?
I can answer that with a real life example.
Okay.
One of my dreams and visions came in that showed a 50-foot wave wiping out this tropical paradise, if you will. Okay. So I didn't have enough information. So I said, I need more. Show me where and give me some more information. It did. Yeah. It showed me Costa Rica. Okay. And then it started showing a timeline. And I couldn't quite see the timeline, but it was doing this, which was telling me this is urgent. So I reached out to a lot of folks like me that see this stuff, say this stuff. And we had a conversation about it. And collectively we said, you know what? We think we can do something. And we all sat down and did our kumbayas. I mean, I'm not a big kumbaya guy, but I did my meditation and I prayed with, one of the particular songs I listened to, and put out to the universe as much positive white light. And I channeled through my olive bone as much as I could. Okay. We did that every day for a week. All right. I did it for roughly half an hour a day. In the end, I watched as the wave disappeared. So when people say that prayers can't affect outcomes, they're wrong. Okay. Because using that Costa Rica tidal wave came from an earthquake as an example. We know that we curtailed that from happening. Now, we've tried this on other things and we haven't been successful. Okay. So back to your question, we have to learn from everything that happens to us. So I know that as long as my wife and I learn the lessons that needed to be learned, then we can use our free will to affect the outcome.
Gotcha.
Right? So since March, my wife and I have been praying to Jesus in my Native American world to make sure that they listen to her free will.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good luck in your fight with the cancer, and Cancer has affected my life. My mother's a 2-time cancer survivor, so I'm not going to say that I know what you're going through, because the situation is different, but I can certainly understand. So
I
know you're going
appreciate
through
that,
a lot.
Mr. Sandman. I really do.
You're welcome, sir. I will be sending some positive vibes out towards you and your wife. Now, we're getting short on time, so I want to ask you something that I kind of saved towards the end here. And that is that one of the most chilling ideas in your book is that souls themselves are a resource, something that the dark ones need to survive. And seems to me like here lately there's been an increasing discussion about consciousness as the real prize here, as far as, you know, not only the paranormal community, but the UFO community and all that, all the alternative topic community, as I say it, that you know, consciousness is the real prize here. Do you believe that something like we've talked about UFOs a lot, but do you believe that the UFO phenomenon is less about invasion and more about influence over human consciousness?
Yes. Yes. I can physically see people that are influenced by both darkness or, if you will, an ET. Okay. When I look at people, I can see it. And when I look at people that don't have a soul, okay, I can see it as plain as day. So like AI and all this stuff that's going on with it, there's no soul in it. So you can never have those things that you and I have, right? So the mind can create anything. Right now, they've recently rounded up a bunch of starseed children in China who have the ability to use their mind to affect things. Okay. Well, we know that's coming in the, you know, what's being revealed in 26 with the extraterrestrials and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But the power comes from your soul. Your mind can create it, but it's powered from your soul, and your soul is connected to the universe. Okay. That's how this game works.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Do you feel that you said that there are some people who have no soul in your comment there? So how can, if the soul is what makes me, how can I not have one? What kind of, is that like a zombie person? Is it, I mean,
yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So if somebody walked up to you and took your soul out of you and allowed you to live, okay, you have no connection to the universe. You have no connection to God. You're just a bag of bones and flesh. That's it. Okay. You can think, you can do your things, but you don't have any true power. Our power comes from our soul. The reason people tell me I am authentic is because I'm most of the time, the stuff I say, I'm not all that aware I'm saying it, right?
Okay.
It comes across so authentic because I truly believe that it's not just coming from my soul, but it's coming from the spirit realm itself, right?
Okay.
Something without a soul cannot be authentic. It just can't. You won't be able to resonate with it. And every living creature on earth can feel energy. That energy comes from your soul.
So if you are a dark one and you take my soul from me for whatever reason, then what happens to me? You know, the physical, like when I die, what the hell happens?
You're going to love this. In book 2,
oh, no.
Okay, in book 2, all right, right next to the Windham Inn is the Windham Center post office, okay? And in front of the post office is this grumpy old man who has been pacing back and forth in front of the post office for about 50 years now, okay? In book, 50 years, maybe 40 years. In book 2, I introduce him, and here's why. The darkness keeps coming for Master Gary, but light swoops in and, knocks it silly, okay? And it gets all pissed off, and it just happens that this grumpy old man was walking by and came within enough distance that darkness latched on. And I don't want to spoil alert the book 2, okay? But the man ends up exactly what you're talking about. His soul is captured, and he is left as just his outline, his existence. So when people ask me what's the difference between a ghost and a spirit, I like to say, listen, a ghost doesn't really know it's there. A spirit does. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said.
So this grumpy old man is pacing back and forth, doing what he did in his last moments of life, bitching at Master Gary about his bike and the fact that he thinks he should this, that, and the other thing. Okay. Because his soul is gone. Okay. What goes to the spirit world after we die is our energy, our soul. Okay. But there's also our spirit. Right. So the three parts of us, the Trinity, right? Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. That's what we are. Physical, spiritual, soul. Okay. Our three existences, our soul, our spirit, and our physical body. Physical body drops, the soul and the spirit are left. Now, you split those things, you got a problem. You got a spirit running around, some without a soul, some with a soul. It's crazy.
That's hard to wrap your head around on that.
Now step back, and I walk into a room where there's 30 ghosts in it. Quickly, I've got to figure out who everybody is. Okay. Yeah. Everybody else at the party is looking around at the people in their dresses and what people are wearing and everything else. I'm counting spirit guides and gatekeepers and all this shit to see what the hell's going on so I can tell where the darkness is, right? Yeah. Wow. Welcome to my world, Sandman.
Yeah. Puts a little different perspective on reality,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we are getting up to close to the top of the hour here, and I've got two final questions, and I ask these two questions of everybody. First is, where can my listeners pick up copies of your books?
Yeah, so all my books are online with Amazon.
Okay.
You can get them off of my website. You can get them off of Vet Force One website, but the simplest path is Amazon. All right. Mysteries of the Windham Inn book 2 is out here in a couple months. I've got to rewrite a couple of last pages, and then it's off to editing. But my other books, Steps to Crazy, that's a hell of a book to read. It became a bestseller. Mysteries of Windham Inn hasn't become a bestseller yet. And the other one is A Date with Suicide. This one dives deep into, why 50 plus veterans a day are committing suicide, and it gets into my time in the military and post-military.
Okay.
But that book is saving lives. So we went ahead and started an organization called Vet Force One. It's the Veterans Spiritual Task Force. And that you're going to start seeing more and more of as this year unfolds.
Good. And Vet Force One, is that the number 1 spelled out?
Nope, just one. As just in one before two.
Okay.
Vet with a hyphen force1.com.
Okay. I'll make sure I put that up on the video. I'll put that up where people can see it.
Yeah, and you'll see my pretty mug in there. I'm the best looking guy in the group. So
and your website, what is your website?
I don't know yet because I just had it rebuilt and we decided to change the name. So I've taken it down.
Okay.
We're doing some new stuff, but you can find me on Facebook under D-Pole or the other socials.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure to put all that down in the video comments down there. And finally, if there is someone who is listening to this podcast or watching the video version of it, and they feel like they're going through something, whether it's some sort of spiritual warfare or something's after their soul, or they feel like they had an attachment, or maybe they just have this feeling that they need to talk to you or ask for your advice. Do you let people like solicit advice from you or seek your help? And if so, like how do they go about doing it?
Yeah, two parts to that. One is, yes, if you need me, reach out, right? My email is dpaul@blackhawkbooks.com. Okay. And I'm the one that answers all the emails. All right.
Okay.
But if you have something going on that, especially if somebody else can't solve the problem, listen, we're the guys that can deal with this stuff. All right. We've, if you see these shows where these exorcists go in and do these things and head spinning and all that, walking on walls and ceilings, that's true. But the rest of it, I have never seen yet. But we do all those things. We remove darkness from people, places, and things. And we have bumped into some really nasty, nasty stuff. And so far, we've been 1,000% with clearing people, cleansing people.
That's great.
Exercising properties and people. So reach out and we can help you, especially when somebody else can't.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that info. I appreciate it. So if you're going through something and you maybe need some help, get in touch with Mr. D. Paul here. I'll have all his contact information on the video version. And it's D. Paul at blackhawkbooks.com. D. Paul at blackhawkbooks.com if you need to.
Yeah, if you buy my book, my contact information's in there, so you get a double whammy.
Sweet. There you go. Double whammy. And that is it for tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. D. Paul, for being a guest on ParaReality and for the very fascinating, interesting conversations we had there, man. That's it's some good stuff. And I see where whenever we were first exchanging emails and you're like, I don't write fiction. And I was like, well, this book sounds like a work of fiction. Now I understand where you're coming from. So you were right. You do not write works of fiction. So you need to check your book out. It is a very interesting book, and the read is quick too. I'll have to say that it didn't take, because you get kind of invested in what's going on. And then before you know it, you've read, like 4 or 5 chapters, and you look up, you're like, oh shit, I missed dinner. So it can be a quick read, and it's very immersive. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the follow-up has.
Oh, if you liked book 1, book 2 is going to fascinate the hell out of you. Book 3 and 4 are on their way too. Just so you know.
When is book 2 going to be out? Do you know?
It'll be out before March, middle of March. Okay,
so by the
I've got
summer,
to finish the editing and are finishing chapters, and it's going to editing soon.
All right. Well, everybody, that about does it for tonight. Once again, thank you, Mr. D. Paul, for being a guest here on ParaReality, and thank you, the listener, for listening. And unfortunately, before I close it out, I got to play a couple of more of those pesky commercials. Mr. Paul, I'm going to ask that you hang on until the end of everything, because I want us to talk again before we hang up. So be right back, everybody. Here is one of those damn commercials.
Eczema is unpredictable, but you can flare less with Ebglyss, a once-monthly treatment for moderate to severe eczema. After an initial 4-month or longer dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Rated T for teen.
Hey everyone, it's the best in the world, CM Punk, back to shake up WWE 2K26. This year, the show never stops. You're running the greatest spectacle on earth with the biggest roster we've ever had. Over 400 superstars and legends from every era. Stack the tables, break the rules, burn it all down. And yeah, my very own showcase, telling my story the way it should have been told. Because when the show never stops, anything is possible. Available March 13th, pre-order now.
You've listened to the stories, you've questioned the truth. Now it's time to wear it. Head over to ParaReality.com and check out the official ParaReality merchandise shop. T-shirts featuring the official podcast logo, the iconic ParaReality all-seeing eye, plus mugs, hats, totes, pillows, stickers, and yes, even something for your pooch. But while you're there, don't stop at the merch. Look a little closer. Dig a little deeper. Somewhere on the site, you'll find the entrance to the secret bunker, the members-only section of ParaReality.com. Inside, the ParaReality top-secret files. Real FBI documents on UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, Adolf Hitler, and more. Plus classified audio, some of the strangest messages ever left on the secret bunker hotline, and access to a secret podcast side project that's never been released publicly. And here's the best part. It's all absolutely free. Once you're in, don't forget to claim your free ParaReality Podcast Secret Bunker t-shirt. Just make sure you place your order. The truth is out there. The bunker is waiting. Visit ParaReality.com and find what you weren't supposed to.
You know, when people hear the word disclosure, they usually imagine spacecraft, radar returns, leaked footage, or something like landing on the White House lawn. But what if disclosure isn't about arrival at all? What if it's about remembering? Tonight, we talked about the Windham Inn, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. It's a place where injustice, emotion, and human suffering didn't fade with time, but soaked into the land itself. And we talked about the Watchers, beings bound by rules, guardians of balance, observers who intervene only when free will is threatened. That idea should feel uncomfortably familiar, because for decades now, people across the world have reported encounters with non-human intelligences that don't conquer, they don't communicate clearly, and they don't reveal themselves outright. Instead, they observe, they influence, and they wait. They seem deeply interested in consciousness, choice, and the human soul. In Mr. D. Paul's world, the Watchers are ancient. They're not bound to one place or one culture or one belief system. They're part of a long war, light versus dark, control versus freedom. And when you strip away the language, the rituals, the symbolism, what's left sounds eerily close to what modern UFO researchers are circling right now. At not aliens from a distant star, but something that's already here. So disclosure then may not be about governments admitting what they've recovered. It may be more about humanity realizing that the paranormal, the spiritual, and the extraterrestrial were never separate categories to begin with. They were different marks, different masks for the same presence, filtered through the limits of our understanding at different points in history. Places like the Windham Inn don't just host ghosts. They host pressure points where the reality's thin, where attention gathers, and where the rules bend. And if that's true, then disclosure isn't coming in one big announcement. It's unfolding slowly through stories like these told by D. Paul, through experiencers, through patterns that we can't ignore anymore. And maybe the Watchers are still watching. D. Paul says they certainly are. And maybe they always have been. And maybe disclosure happens the moment we finally accept that we're not just being observed, but tested. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's episode of ParaReality. Join me again next Friday at 8 p.m. Central for another episode of the podcast. So make sure you tune in, and find out. Everybody, I hope this podcast opens your mind up to new ways of thinking, expands your consciousness, and produces a change in the way you see the world. If you wish to change, you must lift the veil of ignorance that has been cast over your eyes. Only then will you see the true power of the universe. Hope you had a wonderful evening. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again next Friday. Good night, everybody.
If you wish to change, you must first lift the veil of ignorance that has been cast over your eyes. Only then will you see the true power of the universe.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.